We held back, and the galaxy was warned. They didn't listen, but they will now. Humanity had always been careful. For centuries, they watched the stars, learning about other species, studying the laws of space, and building a life on the edges of the galaxy. Humans had expanded slowly not because they lacked power, but because they understood the dangers of showing strength too soon. The galaxy was full of giants, species that could crush planets, burn moons, and wipe out colonies with a single strike. Humanity did not want to be one of those threats, at least not yet. On a small research station orbiting a bright blue star, John Carter and Emma Brooks stood together, looking at a holographic map of the nearby star systems. The room smelled faintly of recycled air and electronics. John rubbed his chin and said, "They are testing us again." Another patrol ship was stopped near Vega 10. Nothing was damaged, but they made sure we saw it. Emma shook her head, her short brown hair moving slightly. "It's like they want us to react, but if we do, it will give them exactly what they want. Fear. Panic. They think we will attack first." John frowned. "But every day we wait, they push a little further. If someone doesn't act, what will happen when they decide to push too far?" Emma looked at him carefully. "That's why we are patient. We do not strike first. Our strength is not in fear, but in control. If they realize we can hold back when it matters, they will respect us." Their words were calm, but the tension in the room was almost visible. Around the galaxy, humanity had earned a reputation for being cautious, sometimes too cautious. Other species thought humans were weak because they avoided war and fought only when necessary. But the humans knew the truth. They had weapons that no one could imagine, fleets that could travel faster than the eye could follow, and technology that could make entire worlds uninhabitable in hours. They just never used it. On the surface of Earth, life continued normally. Children played in parks under blue skies, farmers harvested fields, and cities moved in quiet rhythm. Most humans did not know what was happening in space. To them, the universe was a distant mystery, something humans explored with curiosity, not fear. At the same time, human diplomats like Claire Bennett were traveling across the galaxy. Claire had just returned from a small neutral system, where she had tried to mediate a dispute between two alien empires. She had spent months in tense meetings, listening to complaints, threats, and ultimatums. In the end, she left with nothing but a warning. The leaders of the alien systems did not take humanity seriously. They saw the warnings as empty words, a bluff from a small species that could barely defend its own colonies. They laughed at humanity's restraint, seeing it as weakness, but humans did not laugh. They recorded every insult, every attack, every dismissal. They learned. They waited on the bridge of one of humanity's largest ships, the Horizon. Captain Alex Morgan stared at the dark expanse of space. The bridge was quiet except for the soft hum of engines. The ship was massive, yet it moved silently, almost like a shadow. Alex ran a hand over the console. "Sensors detect another probe."
"They're moving closer to our outer colonies. They want to see if we will respond."
Lieutenant Ryan Cole, a young officer with short blonde hair, glanced at the screen. "They're probing our defenses. Again. Every week it's the same thing. Are we just letting them push us further?" Alex turned to him, eyes sharp. "Every action has a reaction. If we act too soon, we lose the advantage. We have power they cannot even imagine, but we only use it when necessary. Patience is our weapon." Ryan looked unconvinced. "It feels like we are holding back too long. What if we wait until it's too late?" Alex smiled faintly. "That is the risk, but every species that underestimated us has learned the hard way. we do not want to teach them yet. We want them to choose their own path before we show them the truth. Meanwhile, in one of the human colonies on the edge of space, civilians lived in quiet ignorance. Families walked along green streets, children laughed as small drones played in the air, and markets were full of food from different planets. None of them knew that alien patrols had been close enough to scan their buildings to test human patience. None of them knew that above them, massive ships like the Horizon were prepared to respond with unimaginable force if needed. Emma Brooks returned to her office at the Central Command on Earth. Her assistant, a young woman named Megan Ford, handed her reports from the Frontier Systems. There's been another incident at Cirrus 9. The patrols tried to blockade the trade routes. They didn't attack, but it was a clear message. They want us to show weakness. Emma sighed. Yes, but we will not. Humanity's strength is patience. Our enemies think we are small, but they do not understand that restraint is not weakness. We are watching, learning, and waiting. On the other side of the galaxy, alien leaders laughed in their palaces. They mocked the humans for their caution. They will never strike first, said one of them, a tall creature with green skin and 4 eyes. They are afraid. They are small. If we continue to test them, we will see how far they will go. Another alien, a female with silver hair and sharp teeth, nodded. Yes, they are patient, but patience is not power. Weakness will show eventually. And when it does, we will take what we want. But humans had learned from history. But they remembered every attack, every insult, every time their colonies had been pushed too far. They knew the risks of letting other species believe they were weak. Humanity had seen what power could do, and they knew how to hide it. In a quiet meeting room on the Horizon, John Carter and Emma Brooks discussed a plan. We should continue sending messages, John said, warnings that are clear but not threatening. We must show that we are aware, watching, and capable of defending ourselves. If we show weakness, they will push harder.
Emma nodded. Exactly.
But we also need to maintain our public image. The people cannot see our full strength. They cannot know what we are capable of. Fear will not protect them. Strategy will. John leaned back in his chair. It's strange, isn't it? How the galaxy thinks the smallest species is weak. How they never imagine that our restraint is our true weapon. Emma smiled faintly. It is the oldest trick in the universe. Underestimate your enemy, and you lose before the first battle is fought. Back on Earth, history books were being written by historians like Megan Ford. She recorded humanity's journey carefully, noting the slow expansion, the diplomatic missions, and the quiet rise in power. Most humans never knew the full story. They saw only exploration, science, and trade. But in the shadows, humanity prepared for the day when restraint would no longer be enough. In the skies above the colonies, alien ships continued to test humans. They scanned worlds, observed defenses, and made small incursions into trade routes. Every time they expected a reaction, but humanity did not react. Every time humans learned more about their tactics, their technology, their weaknesses, and their arrogance. Claire Bennett returned to Earth after months of travel. She brought news from the outer systems, from neutral worlds, and even hostile ones. They do not take us seriously, she said to Emma and John. Everywhere I went, I saw the same thing. The humans are patient, too patient. They will strike eventually, but we are being ignored. John Carter looked at her gravely. That is exactly what we need. They must believe we are weak. If they do not see us as strong, the moment we show them our true power, They will understand what restraint really means. Emma Brooks added, "We must also protect our colonies. Patience does not mean passivity. Every ship, every station, every trade route must be monitored. We cannot allow a mistake to appear as weakness." Meanwhile, on the frontier worlds, children played under alien suns, unaware of the dangers above. Trade ships moved through the stars, carrying food, technology, and messages. The galaxy seemed calm, peaceful, and ordinary. But the quiet was only on the surface. Beneath it, humanity prepared. They trained pilots, built ships, and created weapons that no other species could imagine. Alex Morgan walked the bridge of the horizon at night, looking at the stars. "We are not weak," he said softly to himself. "We are patient, and patience is more dangerous than any weapon they have." As the days passed, human colonies sent reports of minor alien intrusions. Each time, humans reacted with careful observation, never with aggression. Each time, they learned more about the other species' limits, their strategies, and their arrogance. One evening, John Carter and Emma Brooks stood on a balcony overlooking the city below. Lights sparkled like stars. People moved in quiet rhythm, and the sky above was calm. Emma said, "The galaxy thinks we are small. They do not see our fleets. They do not know our power. They do not know. They think patience is weakness." John nodded. "And when the time comes, they will learn. But for now, we hold back. We wait, and the galaxy is being warned." In the silence of the night, humans continued their work, quiet and careful. The galaxy moved around them, unaware of the storm that was waiting, and humanity, patient and strong, prepared for the day when their restraint would no longer be ignored. Humans had warned them. Every message, every patrol, every envoy had made the same point. Humanity would not attack first, but if pushed too far, the consequences would be severe. Yet the dominant species of the galaxy ignored these warnings. They saw patience as weakness. In the outer systems, trouble began quietly. Trade routes were blocked. Cargo ships were scanned aggressively, and minor outposts were harassed. At first, these incidents were small. No one was hurt, no lives were lost, but the message was clear. The galaxy wanted to see how humans would react. On the horizon, Captain Alex Morgan studied the reports carefully. He stood over the console, his hands resting lightly on the smooth surface. "They are testing us again," he said. "Every week it is something new. Every week they push a little further." Lieutenant Ryan Cole, standing nearby, frowned. "It is getting harder to stay calm." "They are hurting our people, our colonies. How long can we just watch?" He stared at the star map, the blinking lights showing human colonies and alien patrols. "We watch because we have to," he said finally. "We do not strike first. That is the rule. But every move we make is calculated. Every step they take is being recorded. They think they are testing us. They are wrong." Meanwhile, at a colony on Ceres 9, life had begun to change. Traders and farmers noticed alien ships appearing more frequently. Their scans showed weapons, and their communications were interrupted. The people were frightened, though most did not know why. A young engineer named Lucas Hayes worked in the communications center. He had seen the aliens approaching several times over the past month. "They are getting closer," he told his supervisor, Ethan Ross. "Last week they just scanned us. Yesterday they blocked the main shipping route for a day." Ethan rubbed his forehead. "We need to report this, but headquarters will just tell us to remain calm. We are supposed to let them test us." "It doesn't feel safe." I think they are planning something bigger. We cannot just wait. At the same time, on Earth, diplomats like Claire Bennett tried one last time to mediate. She had spent months traveling to different alien capitals, meeting with rulers, generals, and councils. She brought proposals, compromises, and messages of peace, but everywhere she went, she was ignored or dismissed. They will not listen, Claire told Emma Brooks during a meeting in Central Command. Everywhere I went, they laughed. They said humanity is too cautious to be dangerous. They believe our patience is weakness. Emma's face was calm, but her eyes were sharp. Then they will learn the hard way. We have warned them. Every incident, every patrol, every probe, they have ignored it all. Humanity will not strike first, but we will respond if necessary. In the outer systems, alien leaders celebrated their perceived victory. They believed humans would never retaliate, that the warnings were empty threats. They sent fleets to block trade routes, harass colonies, and show their power. One of these leaders, a tall alien named Kravok, spoke to his council. The humans are cautious, he said, but they are small. They will not fight back. Let them continue their studies and their slow expansion. They will never be a threat. Another council member, a female named Syra, added, yes, they are patient, but patience is not power. We can take what we want, and they will not resist. On Ceres 9, the human colony watched as alien patrols arrived. Their ships were larger than anything the colonists had seen before. They blocked the main space lanes and demanded inspection of every ship. Supplies were delayed. People grew anxious. Lucas Hayes and Ethan Ross worked tirelessly to keep communications open with Earth. They are scanning everything, Lucas said, even the power grids and water systems. They want to see how vulnerable we are. They think we will panic. They think we will call for help. But that is exactly what they want. We have to stay calm. We have to wait. Back on the horizon, Alex Morgan received a message from the colony. Captain, the situation at Ceres 9 is getting worse. They have blocked supplies.
Civilians are frightened. The aliens are showing force.
Alex's jaw tightened. They are testing patience. Every move is deliberate. They want to see how far we will allow them to go. But we will not act rashly. Not yet. At Central Command, Emma Brooks and John Carter held a meeting with all senior officers. The galaxy is ignoring our warnings, Emma said. They are testing us, harassing our colonies, and assuming we will never respond. We must continue to watch, learn, and prepare. But we also must protect our people. John nodded. It is a delicate balance. One wrong move and we could start a war we do not want. But if we remain passive for too long, they may think we are weak. Alien attacks on minor colonies grew bolder. Communication stations were destroyed, supply lines were interrupted, and patrol ships engaged in dangerous maneuvers near human outposts. Still, humans held back. They responded only with defense, never with aggression. On one border planet, a small research station was surrounded by alien ships. The commander, Rachel Ford, tried to negotiate, sending messages of cooperation and peace. The aliens ignored her. They fired warning shots, damaging infrastructure. Civilians fled into bunkers. Rachel spoke to her team quietly. Do not respond. Do not fire. They want us to react. They want us to prove that we are afraid. We are not afraid. We are patient. Back on the horizon, Captain Morgan received reports from multiple colonies. This is no longer a test, he said. They are being reckless. Every day the attacks grow more dangerous. If we continue to hold back, we risk lives. Lieutenant Ryan Cole, still uneasy, said, "How long can we wait? They are hurting people. At some point, restraint becomes negligence." Alex turned to him, eyes firm. "Restraint is strength."
We have the advantage because they underestimate us. They believe patience is weakness.
That is the truth. Every misstep they make, we are learning. Every attack, every harassment, we are gaining information. And when the time comes, we will respond in a way they cannot ignore. Meanwhile, the humans continued diplomatic efforts wherever possible. Claire Bennett traveled to neutral systems, trying to build alliances, warning others of the rising tension. But few listened. Many feared that taking sides would make them targets. Others simply did not believe humans could act decisively. One evening, in a quiet council room on Earth, Emma Brooks and John Carter reviewed the latest intelligence. "They are pushing us," John said. "Every week, they take another step. And every week, we do nothing." Emma's voice was calm but firm. "Every time we respond too soon, we give them exactly what they want. But they will learn. They will see that our patience is not weakness. In the outer systems, the pressure on humans was increasing. Colonists lived in fear. Trade was disrupted. Supplies were delayed. People began asking questions. Some demanded action. Some wanted to retaliate. But leadership remained steady. Humans had trained for this moment, preparing fleets, pilots, and weapons. They had learned from history that anger could destroy, but patience could protect and teach. At the same time, alien fleets continued to harass. Believing their dominance was certain, they sent larger forces to blockade key systems. They attacked minor stations, disabling communication and scanning civilian settlements. They assumed humanity would surrender or plead for help. But humans did not panic. They did not fight back. They protected what they could, evacuated civilians, and studied every move. Every engagement was recorded, analyzed, and remembered. Every weakness the alien showed was stored in human memory banks for the day it would matter. Captain Morgan watched the reports with quiet determination. "They think they are winning," he said.
They believe we are afraid, but we are not.
We are preparing. We are learning.
And they will pay for every mistake. On Ceres 9, Lucas Hayes sent another report to Central Command. "Sir, they attacked again. This time they destroyed a small trade station. No one was killed, but the damage is significant. They are testing us intentionally." Ethan Ross looked at the screen. "They are pushing too far." Every time, they expect a reaction. But we cannot give them what they want. We have to wait. Back on Earth, Emma Brooks addressed her officers. "The galaxy has ignored our warnings. They believe our patience is weakness. They are wrong. We do not strike first. But when the time comes, they will understand that patience is more dangerous than any weapon." And so, humanity held back. They waited while the galaxy pushed, tested, and laughed. They watched the colonies, protected the civilians, and recorded every move. They allowed the arrogance of other species to grow, knowing that one day their restraint would end. The galaxy had ignored them. Humanity's patience was being tested to the limit, and when the time came, the galaxy would finally see what humans were capable of. Until then, humans held back. For years, humans had held back. They had warned the galaxy. They had sent diplomats. They had evacuated colonies, repaired damage, and recorded every move of the species that had mocked them. But the galaxy ignored them. Every attack, every blockade, every insult, had gone unpunished. Captain Alex Morgan stood on the bridge of the horizon, staring at the blinking red icons on the star map. Alien fleets were massing near human colonies, some already attacking trade stations. The damage was growing, and so was human resolve. Lieutenant Ryan Cole moved quickly across the bridge. "Captain, their fleets are forming a line near Vega 12. They are preparing something big. We cannot keep waiting." Alex shook his head slowly. "We are not waiting for fear, Ryan. We are waiting for the right moment. Every move they make, we are learning. Every weakness they show is recorded. And when we respond, it will not be just a reaction. It will be the end of their arrogance." In Central Command on Earth, Emma Brooks and John Carter watched reports pour in from all over the galaxy. Colonies were under constant harassment. Trade routes were blocked, and minor stations were destroyed. The aliens believed humanity was afraid to strike. "They think we are weak," John said, slamming his fist lightly on the table. "They do not know what we can do. They do not know how much we have prepared. They will find out soon. Our patience is not weakness. Our restraint is not surrender. The galaxy has ignored our warnings for the last time." Preparations began quietly. Ships that had never been revealed to the galaxy were brought out of secret hangars. Weapons designed for wars humans had hoped never to fight were readied. Pilots trained in extreme conditions were called to the front lines. Every human capable of contributing to the defense or to the retaliation was ready. On the horizon, Captain Morgan reviewed the battle plans. "We are not going in blindly," he said to his officers. "We will strike fast, precise, and without unnecessary loss. We are not conquerors, but we will teach the galaxy that our restraint was a choice, not weakness." Lieutenant Cole clenched his jaw. "How bad will it be? Can we avoid major losses?" "Losses are inevitable, Ryan. But so is victory. The enemy believes we are cautious. They have no idea what we are capable of. That is our advantage. Precision and planning will make them regret ever testing us." Meanwhile, on Series 9, Lucas Hayes and Ethan Ross watched alien fleets move closer. Supplies had been blocked for months, and minor attacks had escalated into deliberate destruction. Civilians were frightened, but humans kept calm. They knew help was coming, even if the galaxy thought humanity was weak. Lucas checked the comms console. "Sir, they've moved to destroy the central trading station." "We cannot protect it alone." Ethan nodded. "We do not act yet. We wait for orders. Our strength is in patience. Well, but it will come." In the alien capitals, arrogance had grown. Kravak and Syra, leaders of one of the largest hostile empires, laughed over reports of human colonies under siege. "They still do nothing," Kravak said. "The humans are weak. They are afraid. Soon, we will control the trade routes completely." Syra grinned. "Yes, and they will beg for peace. It is only a matter of time before they surrender." They were wrong. The first strike came silently. At midnight, in human time, fleets that had been hidden for decades emerged from concealed jump points. They appeared faster than anyone expected, moving in formation with flawless coordination. The galaxy, which had mocked human patience, had no warning. Captain Morgan watched the enemy fleet through the viewing screen. "They think we are small," he said. "They think they have time. Let's show them how wrong they are." The Horizon fired its first shot. It was not meant to destroy, only to disable, and it did so perfectly. Alien ships that had believed themselves safe were immobilized within seconds. Sensors overloaded, Engines shut down, and communication networks crashed. Chaos spread through the enemy ranks. Lieutenant Cole grinned. It worked. They did not see it coming. Morgan nodded. It will get worse. Keep focused. Precision is our weapon. Mercy will guide our strikes, but no one will underestimate humanity again. On Ceres 9, Lucas Hayes watched from the comm center as alien ships were disabled by unseen forces. It's like we have hidden power, he whispered. How did they do this? Patience, that is how. We held back, and now the galaxy will see why. Meanwhile, human pilots like Megan Ford and Ethan Ross, those trained for the unseen strike, moved into action. Their ships were small but fast, equipped with weapons capable of disabling multiple enemy vessels at once. Each maneuver was precise, calculated, and deadly in its efficiency. Alien fleets were crippled before they could organize. In alien command rooms, confusion reigned. Kravak banged on the console, screaming orders that went ignored as systems failed. Syra stared at the blinking screens, disbelief written across her face. How? How is this happening? She asked. Human technology, said one of her officers. It is faster, smarter, better than anything we have seen. He died. They waited, and now they strike perfectly. The humans did not aim to kill unnecessarily. Their goal was control, not slaughter. Every disabled ship, every shutdown system was a lesson. Humanity's restraint had been deliberate. Their patience had allowed them to plan a response that the galaxy could not ignore. On the horizon, Alex Morgan addressed his crew. Remember, we do not strike to conquer. We strike to teach. We strike to make sure the galaxy understands that patience was our choice, not weakness. Precision and mercy will guide us. But they will remember today. Lieutenant Cole looked at the screen filled with disabled alien vessels. They will never underestimate us again. Exactly. Let them see what restraint looks like. Let them see what patience becomes. Meanwhile, the humans continued their attacks. Each fleet that appeared was targeted with surgical precision. Communication networks were restored on human colonies, while enemy ships were cut off. Supply lines were reopened, civilians were safe, and colonies that had been threatened for months finally breathed freely. Claire Bennett watched reports from alien capitals. They underestimated us for decades, she said quietly. And now they are learning the truth. Emma Brooks turned to John Carter. This is why we waited. Every attack, every harassment, every insult has led to this moment. The galaxy thought we were weak. They were wrong. Even in the enemy capitals, leaders began to understand. Entire fleets were immobilized. Colonies they had thought to control were safe under human protection. Communication with other empires revealed that every species that had tested humanity was in disarray. Syra turned to Pravok. We cannot fight them. Their patience allowed them to strike in ways we could not see. We are powerless against their control. Kravok's face darkened. We ignored their warnings. We thought them small. We thought them afraid. And now, we are paying the price. On Cirrus 9, Lucas Hayes and Ethan Ross watched as alien ships fled. The skies cleared, and for the first time in months, the colony was safe. Civilians came out of bunkers, tears in their eyes. They saved us, a child said softly. Ethan smiled. They were never afraid. They waited until the right moment. That is why humanity always wins. We do not strike first, but when we do, we strike perfectly. Captain Morgan looked out from the bridge of the horizon, at the stars where the enemy had once loomed. We held back. We warned them. They did not listen, and now they know the cost of ignoring humanity. Across the galaxy, the lesson was clear. Humanity was patient. Humanity was strong. Humanity was not weak. The species that had mocked them for caution, that had believed patience was weakness, now understood that restraint was more powerful than aggression. Emma Brooks and John Carter watched the final reports from Earth. They will not forget this, Emma said. John nodded.
Dod.
No species will forget this. Humanity's patience was deliberate. Our restraint was a choice, and the galaxy has learned what that choice really means. In the colonies, life began to recover. Trade routes reopened. Supply lines were repaired. People celebrated quietly, grateful for their protection. And all over humanity, one message spread silently. Patience had been tested, and humanity had won without ever losing control. The galaxy had finally learned, and humanity held its head high, knowing that restraint, wisdom, and careful preparation were the true weapons of their species. For years, humans had held back. They had warned the galaxy. They had been patient. They had endured attacks, harassment, and insults without striking. But the day had come when humanity had acted, showing the full force of its power with precision and mercy. Now, the galaxy knew the truth. Captain Alex Morgan stood on the bridge of the horizon, watching reports from all over the outer systems. Alien fleets that had once threatened human colonies had either retreated or been disabled. Trade routes were safe again. Colonies were rebuilding. The galaxy had learned, and humanity's restraint had turned into respect. Lieutenant Ryan Cole moved to Alex's side, looking at the maps filled with blinking lights showing recovered colonies and disabled enemy ships. "It is finally over," he said quietly. "They will not challenge us again." Alex nodded. "They may try small provocations in the future, but they will think twice. Humanity showed what patience and planning can achieve. We did not conquer. We did not destroy unnecessarily. But we taught the galaxy a lesson it will not forget." On Earth, Emma Brooks and John Carter watched live feeds from human colonies. Children played in the streets again. Markets were full of food and goods. Families hugged after weeks of worry. The people of humanity had survived the test. "They will remember this," Emma said softly. "Every species that tried to challenge us will remember. Humanity is patient, but our restraint is not weakness." John nodded. "And now we can guide the galaxy. We do not take worlds."
We do not enslave species, but we set rules, and the galaxy must follow them.
In the capitals of alien empires, fear and respect had replaced arrogance. Leaders who had laughed at humanity's patience were now silent in disbelief. Kravak, the tall alien who had once mocked humans, sat in his council room, staring at the reports. He began, then paused. They were patient, and now they strike with perfect control. "How can a small species do this?" Sira, sitting nearby, shook her head. "We underestimated them. We believed they were weak. They waited. And when they acted, we could not stop them. The lesson is clear."
Humanity is not weak. Back in human space, Claire Bennett traveled to the former neutral systems.
She brought messages of peace and cooperation, explaining what had happened. "Humans will not attack unless necessary," she told councils and leaders, "but they will protect themselves and their people. And they will act decisively when the time comes. That is the nature of their strength. Many alien leaders nodded, some nervously, others with relief. They had learned the truth. Humanity could be patient, careful, and merciful, but that did not make them weak. Their restraint was their strength. On Series 9, Lucas Hayes and Ethan Ross walked through the streets of the recovered colony. Children ran past them laughing, families hugged, and traders began to move supplies again. It was a quiet victory, but it meant everything to the people who had suffered under harassment and fear. They will not forget this, Lucas said. The galaxy will never underestimate humans again. Ethan smiled. No, we did not destroy unnecessarily. We protected our people. But we taught the lesson they needed to learn. Patience is not weakness. Restraint is power. Across the galaxy, human fleets patrolled lightly, not as conquerors, but as guardians. Every colony had protection. Every trade route was monitored. Every system knew that humans were watching, ready to act if necessary. The message was simple. Humanity would not strike first, but they would finish what needed to be finished. Captain Morgan looked at the stars from the bridge of the horizon. They learned their lesson, he said, not through fear, but through understanding. Humanity does not strike out of anger. We strike out of necessity, and the galaxy now knows the cost of ignoring us. Lieutenant Cull nodded. It is strange. We could have destroyed more, but we chose mercy, and that makes us stronger. Morgan smiled faintly. Exactly. Humanity's restraint is our greatest weapon. They underestimated us for decades. They tested us, pushed us, and mocked us, and we waited. We held back. And now they know better. In the former alien capitals, leaders began to rebuild. They repaired fleets, reassessed their strategies, and sent messages of peace and cooperation. The galaxy had changed. Humans were no longer seen as weak. They were respected, sometimes feared, but always regarded as powerful, careful, and intelligent. Back on Earth, Emma Brooks addressed the senior officers at Central Command. The galaxy has learned that patience can be dangerous. Humanity's restraint was deliberate, and it has earned respect. We have no desire for conquest, but we will act when necessary. That message must be clear to every species, now and in the future. John Carter nodded. And we will enforce it, not through fear or aggression, but through control, precision, and preparedness. Humanity's strength lies in our ability to choose when to act. That choice is more powerful than any weapon. Meanwhile, in the colonies, people celebrated quietly. Life returned to normal. Children ran through parks. Traders reopened markets. Farmers tended fields. And all the while, humanity's fleets remained vigilant, ensuring that no species would dare test them again. Lucas Hayes walked through the streets of Series 9, smiling at the children, playing. We waited. We learned. And now we are safe, he said to Ethan Ross. Ethan nodded. And the galaxy knows. Humanity's patience was not weakness. It was the reason we survived and thrived, and it will keep us strong for years to come. Captain Morgan watched the reports from the bridge. Every fleet, every colony, every trade route was secure. Humanity had proven its power without unnecessary destruction. They had acted decisively, but with care. They had taught the galaxy that restraint was not weakness, and patience was not fear. Emma Brooks and John Carter watched the celebrations on Earth, proud of what humanity had achieved. They will tell stories about this, Emma said. Children will grow up learning that humans are patient, careful, and strong, that we do not strike first, but when we do, we strike perfectly, and the galaxy will respect us. That respect will protect our colonies, our people, and our way of life. We have held back, and the galaxy was warned. They did not listen. But now they will never forget. Across the galaxy, alien leaders sent envoys to humanity, not as conquerors, but as partners. They had learned humility and respect. They understood that humans were not a species to provoke lightly. Every interaction was now guided by caution and awareness of humanity's power. On the horizon, Captain Morgan looked at the stars and felt a quiet pride. We did not strike first. We did not act out of anger. We acted out of necessity and with patience, and that patience has changed the galaxy forever. Lieutenant Cole smiled. It is a strange feeling. We were patient for so long, and now the galaxy understands the power of holding back.
Morgan nodded. Yes.
Patience was our choice. Restraint was our weapon. And humanity's strength is clear to everyone.
In the colonies, families rebuilt their lives.
Children laughed in streets that had once been silent. Traders sold goods freely. Scientists studied the stars without fear. Humanity had protected its people, taught the galaxy a lesson, and restored peace. Across the universe, stories of human patience and strength spread. Other species spoke of the day humans finally acted. They spoke of precision, restraint, and mercy. They spoke of a species that could wait, plan, and strike decisively when necessary. Humanity's reputation was secure. Emma Brooks looked at John Carter one last time that evening. "The galaxy has learned," she said. John nodded.
Yes, they ignored our warnings.
"They thought we were weak, but we held back."
And now, they will never underestimate us again.
Captain Morgan, standing on the bridge of the horizon, looked out at the stars. "We have protected our people. We have taught the galaxy, and we have proven that restraint is not weakness, patience is power, and humanity is a force to be respected." The galaxy would remember. Humanity had held back, and the galaxy had been warned. They did not listen, but now they would never forget. And humanity, patient, careful, and strong, looked to the stars, ready for whatever came next.